understand what Washita is. Was there ever a treaty between Moors and the United States here in America?
I would say the sellout Moors, because if we go back to the peace treaty of 1787, where the Moroccan Empire gave the United States, the corporation, the green light to commerce on our land, not to come over here to own property, but to conduct business. In that time, we trade gold, silver, bronze, etc., etc. So it was a peace treaty, but there was never authority given to the United States to tell them to decapitate our people, to murder our people, to put them in slavery, etc. Because Washington is the mound builders. It's the 36 nations inside of Washington, the empire. And to break it down, you have an empire, a nation, a tribe, a clan. And it's a protocol. That's how you build. You first start off with your clan, which is the household, and everything has been stripped from us. These people are in dishonor with the peace treaty. They have broke every peace treaty you can imagine. Then you classify us as niggers, black, colored, when we know color and law is not law.
Right.
It's a violation of law. It's not the original title. So it's a lot of things that has been stripped from our people. They have been lied to. And then you want to talk about reparation when we don't need reparation. We need you to get off the land and head back to Europe.
Those are the real. Those are the real immigrants. Those are the real illegal immigrants, right?
But we're the immigrants.
Right. So I mean, it's funny you said that, color of law, because when Kanye West met with Donald Trump, he said. He made a very interesting statement. He said the United States Corporation, and then he tried to oh, I'm in America, but he obviously he had a black law dictionary, right? So my host and I, Mr. King, were talking about dictionaries just a few minutes ago. Could you tell me the difference between a black law dictionary and a regular dictionary?
Black law dictionary is law. It gives you the definition of law, not policy or commercial codes or policy codes. A dictionary is for corporation uses only. So if you go on the Black Law Dictionary and look up black, the name black means subject to being property to a corporation. Mm-hmm. That is not a race. That is not a nationality. That is not an ethnicity of people at all. They're 3/5 of a human. They lost their religion and they lost their nationality, which is their birthrights. So they means nothing to this so-called United States corporation. That's why they kill us and get away with it, because we're under colorable law. Mm-hmm. We're classified as immigrants, property that have no control of nothing. We're 3/5 of a human. A dog has more rights than us in the United States corporation than a black man, because black in law means dead. But if you open up a dictionary that's not a black law and try to describe us as some type of African descent, we all know that America and Africa is the same continent. It broke off when the Great Atlantic earthquake took place.
Right. That's right. That's amazing. So what's the difference between, how do you spell more? Because my definition or my understanding of Moors were the noble Drew Ali type of Moor. And Washita Moor is actually precedes the Moor that noble Drew Ali was. Now, are you guys unified in one struggle or one fight? Or is it fragmented where you have two different ideologies?
But I have nothing but to tell the truth. And I must tell the truth how it is. First and foremost, all of us are Moors that have melanin in our skin. Washita is M-U-U-R, Moor, which Moors have been derived over 100 times. A-M-O-O-R-E, M-U-U-R, M-O-O-R, etc., etc. Blackamoor, where they try to
the jewelry
waterwash it again. So Noble Drew Ali manifested the thought of the Moorish Science Temple in 1913.
Right.
Washington Moors been here thousands of years before that.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about Aztecs, etc., or mound builders. The pyramid builder, Egypt, etc. The pyramids are here. If you strip down the mountains, what do you get? A pyramid.
Right.
Um, is there unity? No, it's segregation.
Okay.
And it comes with a power struggle. The Moorish Science Temple are some way, shape, and form in cahoots with the FBI. They sit with the FBI, the federal government. They understand what's going on. You have these cards that are being issued, which is called a nationality card, but you're not the way the nationality cards to a public official, which is a policy enforcer, not enforcing the law of the land, but enforcing policy. These are not nationality cards. These are membership cards that have been produced in the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's the same thing inside a Masonic Lodge. They have membership cards, dude cards, medical dues, etc., etc. Washington traces us back to the landmass, our birthrights. They have similarity because Noble Drew Ali was Washington. It's the Empress cousin, third, fourth, or fifth cousin. So Noble Drew Ali can trace himself back to Washington. Noble Drew Ali did teach the people correct, and he tried to open the minds of the Negroes, black, and so-called colored folk. But when he was assassinated and he was released, they tried to say he had pneumonia or whatever, etc. We all know that the messiahs and the powerful leaders are removed because they can do damage to the oppressor.
Right.
So once he was removed off the physical plane, who do you think took the seat? Everybody's fighting to become the national grand sheikh, etc., etc.
They're fighting today. They're fighting right now today for that position.
Right. When in all actuality in the East, there's no such thing as a grand sheikh. It's only sheikh. So we're still water washing ourselves. So we're going to educate our people properly. Let's do it the right way. Why ain't we building hospitals, jobs? We can build our own police department if we want to, because this is our landmass. We can prove the documentation of it. Why ain't we policing our own people? See, our people are getting half of the truth. And the people that don't know no better, they're being manipulated.
Right.
They're being funds taken from them. So you got all these people trying to pay for a nationality that they got, it's their birthrights. You don't have to ask nobody who you are. You know who you are. Why do you have to be approved by man to be a Moor? You was a Moor by birth. Don't you see that you're being oppressed? It was put in the Holy Seas to oppress Moors because they know that we civilize the world, and if we get back into thinking of who we are and become ourselves, these people lose their authority. We only give these people power because we allow them to have it and we don't know no better. So it's time to change the tables with that. And Washington, yeah, we affiliate with the Moorish Science Temple of America, and it's always unity and peace and love. But when it comes to lying, we're not going to stand behind it at all. When it comes to saying issuing out a nationality card through a Moorish Science Temple of America, a 501c3 nonprofit, you cannot issue out a nationality card for a nation when you're a corporation and have to report to a Secretary of State at the USC, the United States Corporate. A corporation cannot create a nation. You're a paper man. You're an entity. You're not in the natural laws or the natural laws of the land. You're not even here physically. Really, you're just a paper person. That's it. You're a monopoly. You're a false. The money's not real. It has no value. Nothing you do for us has no value for us.
Right. We give it the value.
Correct.
we inflate it and it could be deflated. So, I mean, that's very interesting that you say that. And it's also very interesting that you say no one's going to give you nothing. I'm a very firm believer. No one will ever give us anything. But if we're organized enough, we could take everything. And so
Correct.
one of the things that my host and I were talking about was how do we get organized? So how, like, so suppose, because my brother Trayon Kirby L, he's always telling me, you need to claim your nationality, you need to claim your nationality. And I'm always saying to him, you fight the fight I'll be on the outside, you be on the inside. But how can, the number one question, and I'm almost certain we're gonna do another segment close to this, I just gotta figure out how it looks, is I wanna bring a certain amount of people together. How can we all work together? Or can we?
We can, and it's being done. Last weekend we had a round table. New Black Panther Party, the Morrison Temple of America, Washington, AK-47 chapter, which is a new group out of Ohio, Decent Brothers, Frontline Defense, the Conscious Community, the EFAs. It's a lot of heads that came to the table. One thing we have to do is remove the religion part. We ain't gonna argue about religion, not at this table, because when that cop pull us over, you think he cares if you're a Christian or a Muslim? He gonna blow your brains out if he can get away with it.
Right.
So that's the stuff we gotta push to the table. Problem number one is economics. Where's the bag? Number two is education. You have to be educated to know how to move around the bag. You got to go back to mafia times. The reason why they were so strong, they had money and they had people that wasn't traders. And if you became a trader, you got dealt with accordingly.
Right.
See, what's wrong with our people? We know we have enemies that want to kill us, but do we do anything about it? No. And then when they knock off our leader's head, what we do? We become submissive. Look at Fred Hampton. He had a whole movement, but it was only about a solid amount of Panthers that rocked for him. The rest of them became scared and went under the radar. But we have to stand firm as a nation. All organizations have to be able to play their role. The New Black Panther Party, that's our military. And it's not a terrorist group. It's a group that's tired of the police of killing us and getting away with killing us. And it's just simple as that. Then you have the Moors. The Moors are the intelligent ones that are the teachers. The UCC, the constitutional law, the international law, nationality rights, birth rights, etc. Everybody has a role that they have to play inside this nation. This is nation building. Right now, our nation has failed. We're the fallen nation that must rebuild up. And the problem is, your woman should be above average. The child should be protected and educated. So if your woman is not in her good standing, then your nation can't either. Because it starts off with your woman. If you ask man, where do you come from? He's going to tell you the womb. So why do you disrespect your woman?
Right.
Why do you degrade the woman, etc., etc.? So we have to break these barriers and set the standard high. And the coons and the traitors and the sellouts that ain't with it, you have to get rid of them.
Right. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. That's the only way. We always implode from within, and that's the biggest thing. And we let, like, I appreciate your words of wisdom as you dropped it on us, because so many of us who look like us throw us underneath the bus to the oppressor in order for their own self-preservation or what they believe to be self-preservation and gain, until it's time for the oppressor to come after them. So thank you, my brother.
And it's funny because you're promised some type of status for someone that has no power or control over you. So you're actually being lied to. You know what I mean? And we do everything under the sun we're the only group of people that deal with each other in an adverse way, or are paid to deal with each other in an adverse way. No other group of people are, but that's a tribute to your strength. That's if the only way I could defeat you, I have to be inside to defeat you. Because if we're all on the same page, we're hard as steel. Mm-hmm. You can't penetrate us. So they always penetrate from the inside, and even in folks that are trying to make a difference through the political system or the corporation, like you just mentioned. There are some people that genuinely have a genuine good heart in terms of I'm going to provide resources, da 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 da. This is America. This is what we're going to, and they're taken down, they're pulled down from within, and it's usually by people that look just like us, and that's happened to you. I'm
Yes,
actually
yes.
referring to you. So would the Washita Moors be interested in working with, say, the Nation of Islam, the Nation of Gods and Earths, the Hebrew Israelites, and just irregular pastors and ministers and stuff? Is there some way we could bring that all together, and maybe we could even take this conversation, we could bring it back online, but maybe it's something that we could pull offline? And before he became city council member, he was one of the people that just knew how to organize. He's a great organizer. Maybe we could organize a bigger round table where we could do bigger things. Is that possible?
Me speaking of chief of my tribe, of course we will. Of course we can. I can't speak for all Washington because we're under the human rights. You have the free will to do self-determination. And that's even with every other organization. They have the right to agree to disagree to come together. I'm for coming together in nation building, but I cannot speak for everybody. I've been active in my community, and I'm actually on city council for my city.
Oh, wow. It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
That's
good.
really amazing, huh?
Well,
So,
I
I'm
want to comment more of some of the things that you were saying, because I want to get your take on. You said yes, it's hard for all of us to get together because of power, because of ego, and because of religion. What would be the first thing that you would say to anybody who are trying to manage those intangibles of how do we put that leave it at the door to come to the table to have a conversation?
Well, first and foremost, I'm gonna ask you, do you look like me? And I'm gonna ask you, do we have similar problems with the police department and our people being assassinated? And tell me, what do this got to do with religion? And that's a something that you have to think for yourself. And if you know what's going on and you see what's going on, you're being affected too. Whether you're being pulled over, getting traffic tickets, catching charges, whatever, you're being affected by this so-called government just because of your skin complexion. And it doesn't matter what religion you claim. You have lawyers that look like me that been pulled over by the police. You have senators, et cetera, et cetera. It's all over the media. So it's clearly that we're being targeted.
Right. Wow.
So if you can't get that through your mental, then no, you shouldn't be at this table at all. You need to go back to do what you've been doing. Because you have to separate the traitors from the freedom fighters. Because some of these people they're sold out. They're bought already. And for them people, I want them to understand, when you die, that man that paid you can't help you on the other side. It's over for you.
Chief, y'all, hold that thought. We got to take a real quick commercial break, all right? We'll be right back.
All right.
No cap and no cap.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV. Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back. No cap and no cap. I'm your host, Kevin C. Megan with Andy King. And we have with us Chief Yah. Like, you dropping so much bombs right now. I appreciate your spirit in on this show. Thank you very much. But before we went to break, you were talking to us. You was dropping some real big bombs on us. I just want to know, what do you see wrong inside the Moorish community?
First and foremost, I have problems with certain elders that have reached a certain age. You have young Moors coming up. They have flames in them. They're ready to go. They're ready to step up to the plate. These older Moors are willing to take this torch into the casket and let the flame go out. You're not ready to pass the torch. Once I reach a certain level in life, I have to pass the torch to the youth so they can continue to push what we're fighting for. And that's what's wrong with the Moorish society. They think because they have the title elder that they know everything. But you gotta understand, we're not in 1913. We're in 2021. Everything has been advanced. My daughter's 5, and she teaches me about technology more than a older person can.
Right.
So never think you can't learn from the youth, and never think that you can't learn from the elders.
Right.
And at some point, you must be able to pass that torch on.
And you're absolutely right. And what I'm hearing from you is not the Moorish community, but it seems that's a
universal
common call and cry from the young people in all facets. You know, I've sat in meetings with National Action Network, the NAACP, just in communities, and some of the young people are fighting to come out and say some things and be a part, but the elders are holding it back. So there's been a real dialogue on how do we bridge that gap of the young person respecting the elder, but the elder being wise enough to know, let me get the torch to you. I'm trying to understand how maybe there got to be more conversations along the way as young people are coming up, so they just always don't look at the elder as being someone who was just a statue in the room that can offer something. Then our elders have to recognize that, one day I still need to drop wisdom on it. And maybe it comes to a point that we say to our elders, while you are our elders, that we are the foot soldiers in the race, in the fight right now, and we may need your guidance and wisdom, but it's for us, our time to drop. And we like, everyone has their own religious beliefs, and I remind people, Christ, the Most High in Christ, Yahweh Shai, he was here till 33 when they let him when he got called back home. All right, Dr. King, not to compare him to Yahweh Shai, but he was in his 39. He was 39 when he was doing all this. But there were a lot of people who were doing things in their prime, and our elders got to be able to say, let me sit here in the room and drop some science on you when you need it, but let you do the work because it's your time to deliver us from the oppression, the evils, all the things that manifest in this world. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Well, to add in, I'm an indigenous adept. I study all the main religions, and there's nothing different in the different books because it's all symbolism. It's symbolic to the mental. A lot of the stories that you read in the Bible is good and evil. In every story, there's a good character and a bad character. It's up to you about applying the principles to your life of being good or the bad. And that goes for everybody. And with passing the torch, the elder has to understand that we're in 2021. It's like hip hop. 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, they all evolve. They revolve. They go to another level. The style changes out. Yeah, we got to keep our culture and tradition together. But it's like with the Moors, I put style on. I wear dashiki. I got the gold grills. It's 18 karat of gold. I wear the gold around my neck, but gold is symbolic to wisdom. So when the young Moors see me, they say, man, you fly. You the flyest Muslim I done seen. You like Aladdin. I can put style on it to gravitate my people to come learn. Sometimes the elders are talking about stuff that's born. You have to understand what the youth want to learn and what they're seeking for. Seek and you shall find. So if you sitting inside a temple and he's preaching a message and you don't get it, guess what? Nobody learns. Now you're just talking in circles. So we have to communicate and understand each other. That's just like the streets. I deal with a lot of so-called gangs. They're really not gangs. They're brotherhoods, just like Freemasons and the Alphas and Omegas. They just put a bad spin on our people. But I go out there to the streets and build with the G's and et cetera, and tell them the signs that you're throwing up belongs to you, but you don't even understand what you're doing. So you have to go and educate our youth. Sometimes you have to go to the lowest vibration and bring them up the par.
There you go.
And
That's right.
And a lot of elders are not willing to do it.
Yeah. Right.
They're not willing to go into certain hoods where our youth is killing each other. Why are you killing each other? Are you crazy? Y'all can take this same energy and get a bag. How you rep a block that you don't own? Buy the block.
Exactly.
Then you control the block. What are you doing? So my biggest influence is Nipsey Hussle, and a lot of people say how? Because he reached the youth on our level in our time. He was the prophet to us in his time. He gave the signs. Yeah, he dropped the music, but he was dropping jewels at the same time. He knew he had to drop that type of music in order to get to us. And that's what the elders got to understand. Well, maybe their way can shift things. Because the way we doing it, that 1954 Cadillac ain't going to get up the road like that 2008 Cadillac. It's just not.
That's not right.
It's going to smoke you on that road. So that's what our elders got to understand. You my elder, when I get out of line, I got to respect when you check me. I have no choice. You're wise. You're experienced. And like I said, it goes back to the mafia table. The elders, y'all have built a network with the different people around us, which is with resources. It's your job to pass your network to me. And it's my job to take the grassroots and bring it into the network that you built. That's the only way we're going to build. Oh, that brother ain't no trouble, Judge. You know, that's one of mine. You need to leave him alone. We don't work like that. If you pay attention how all these different people coming up, the agents, they buy stores, and they put money into one store. We got one? Okay, you made enough money, go buy another one. You control this store. Buy the other store? Okay, buy another one. Same thing with the Mexicans. But these people the Mexicans are not different from us. Those are Moors as well. A Mexican, which is a Mexan, which they're the Mayans as well. So you got to see the system that's set up with division. Divided us in so many different pieces that we don't even understand who we are. Black Panthers, Moors, Nation of Islam, 5%ers, Hebrew Israelite. We're all the same people.
Yes.
What is different?
And it's all conceptually, we're the owners of all of that anyway.
Correct.
We're the architects of all of those things anyway, and I'm sure where it should be uniting us, it has us divided. And I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
We're the forefathers. We're the mothers and the fathers of civilization. If your kid run around the house and messing your house up and you don't know about it, how can you fix the problem?
Right.
That's exactly what's going on right now. Our kids is messing up the world, which is the colonizers, because they come from the Aboriginal woman. You can't tell me they don't.
Right.
Because the Asiatic woman, which is the black woman, the Moorish woman, the Israelite woman, the Hebrew woman, whatever name you want to give her, she has melanin and her skin complexion is dark. She can make any form of child. Light, brown, red, you name it. Europeans can't. And it's a proven fact. So all of this belongs to us.
And that's funny you say that. That's the root of white supremacy racism. They want to hold on to a genotype that was white supremacy was born to die. And what you're looking at in this day and age is it's on its last legs. And so it's running around biting everyone like a rabid dog. You know what I mean? But the problem, they're so cunning. So they're dying at a natural rate, Europeans. Like the sun is literally killing them. We're dying at an unnatural rate, meaning homicide, gang violence, abortions.
Right.
Those are unnatural. These are things that you could prevent. This is the rate. We're dying at that rate.
Yeah.
The sun is actually killing them. And so you can't cancel the future. All you could do is prolong it. So, I mean, at some point, white supremacy is going to die, and we're going to be back on this planet like it was in the beginning. And I just don't want, how do we not be fragmented on this planet? Because, I mean, once upon a time, when we controlled the world was at harmony.
Correct. But remember, we pushed our own people into the caves. That's when they lost
That's where they lost their melanin.
Correct. So when they came out the cave, they looked down the hill in the village, they say, those people so peaceful. You know, we in the mountains, we're starving, we're cold, so let's go kill them. Our people ain't think to move out of hate. We wasn't prepared to go to war with hate because we dealt with love.
Right.
So now you got spears and people getting stabbed and women getting raped. This is not our nature.
Right.
And if our people did it, he was programmed to do it.
Right.
So we have to get back to our roots.
So how do we unprogram ourselves to do this?
Huh?
How do we unprogram ourselves to do this? Or what do you suggest we do to unprogram ourselves to do this?
Education. First and foremost, get your kids out that public school. Because if public school was good for your child, they'd be more successful. There's more successful kids in private school and charter schools than in public school ever. And you can never compare the numbers.
Right.
And that's what I was talking about yesterday in my live. You go to work to survive. You're not living, you're surviving.
Exactly.
Of what these people allow you to survive off. They give you a paycheck, what you do with it? You give it right back to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything you pay for, it doesn't belong to them. How do you pay for water? The earth is majority of water. How am I paying you for a water bill?
Yeah.
Or electricity or something that my forefathers created? This is out of line and it's out of law. So our people gotta educate our youth.
Right.
You gotta break these generational curse. I understand, Pastor, that you want to preach about this Bible, but this is the same way that they enslaved us back in the day.
That's right.
And brother, you better obey your master. You know God don't like ugly. Well, he shouldn't have liked you, because you're the one that's taking the word and misinterpreted it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Valid point. I like the point that you said. It starts with education, and I have to go back just paraphrasing a quote from Malcolm X, and he said that how insane it is of us to send our kids to a school system, to the oppressor, to educate our kids. It makes no sense.
But in the same breath, right? It's like asking someone to solve. You're asking the problem to solve the problem. I'm running over to the problem. The problem is white supremacy, but if we
white supremacy to fix the problem.
we're gonna go to white supremacy to fix white supremacy. It's an oxymoron. What do you think about that?
It is an oxymoron, because if you go back to the history of Europe and how did these colonizers get over here, these wasn't good men that was in Europe.
Right.
And I'm not saying all Europeans are bad, but the Europeans that came over here that want to be exiled from British was pedophiles, murderers, rapists, etc. And it's in the records over there.
Right.
Go pull their name. So the man you got running this country is forbidden. He's a rapist, he's a pedophile, he's cool with all of that stuff. And we send our kids to a school that these people are just taking tabs on it.
And
Go to a school right now and try to pull your child's record, they're gonna tell you no. So you mean to tell me I can't have the record on what you put in a jacket about my child?
Wow.
That's how much
That's deep.
confidential you hold from me?
Right. And then make decisions for my kid about my kid without my input half of the time.
Right. But you know, the natural order or law is man, woman, and child, right? Man relies on a higher entity for nourishment and to be sustained. The woman relies on the man, and the child relies on the mother. But somehow, some way, it went upside down. So how do we fix it right side up, or even, I don't even know if it's, I'll be honest with you, Chief, I don't know if it's fixable. I really don't. I mean, I applaud you out in the streets, you talking to kids that I wouldn't talk to. I'm being honest with you. But not really. I talk to a lot of the young folks also. I can't say that. But you know what I mean? Like, you got to meet them exactly where they're at. You know what I mean? So
that we have been brainwashed. And like I said before, a lot of people take out the content, the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. That's dealing with you within, mind, body, and soul. You. Then they separated. If you go back in ancient times, you had Isis, Osiris, and Haru.
And Haru.
Which means man, woman, and child. Moon, sun, and star. Without that, you have violated natural law. Like I was listening to y'all earlier with this LGBT. How do you give more rights to the most racist people in this country?
They are, and I think they're the most racist people in this country.
So that's going back to educating our people. Letting transgender education be put in our preschool. Are you crazy? Pull your kids up out there.
Yeah.
Because if you say you're a Christian, it says homosexuality is abomination. So if you believe in that book that you say that's your holy book, the Al-Quran said the same thing, the Holy Torah said the same thing, Confucius said the same thing, Buddha said the same thing. So why everything that is going on in America violate our religious law and our culture and our traditions, and these people claim that this is their culture and tradition, but you violate it. Gay marriage. In the Bible, it don't state nothing about a gay marriage. So you see how they're breaking down the genetics and the DNA and the program system of our children?
Yes.
Even with these rappers, start pulling their card. You're not talking about name. You're talking about trapping, shooting guns. You never had a criminal record. You're a college student with a bachelor's degree. You never touched one day in jail. You never experienced none of this. Who is paying you to put this garbage out?
There you go. The oppressor. You hit the nail on the head. The oppressor. And when you talk about how do you get this done, and I applaud you for being out there. We're talking about centuries of strategies to oppress our people. It's not going to be a quick 24-hour turnaround. And as much time and energy money they put in to put us in this position, it's going to be a spiritual force that got to come down to put enough of us in the right mind frame to fight back, kick back, and take our lives back. But I applaud you, my brother, for all that you're doing.
You know what we're going to do, Chief? Yeah, we got to bring you back. We're going to bring you back because, time flies when we engage in a good conversation. I'm almost out of time. Maybe we could, once I get offline, I'll give you a call. Maybe I could talk to Mr. King. We could do something offline in addition to bringing you back. But I definitely want to thank you for coming on, sharing with the world what Moors are here in America. We are the indigenous Aborigine people of this continent, which is called Turtle Island. So we're gonna wrap up. Excuse me. We're gonna wrap up. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna definitely bring you back. I want to bring you back with some other folks that we could get into an engaged conversation, and we could talk. We could speak truth to power. I want to thank Millennium TV 24 for giving me this platform. It's a very important platform because a lot of people don't know who we are. You could catch us on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, and download the apps on your Android and your iPhones and all smart TVs. So here we are, capping no cap. You were definitely up here. You weren't capping. I appreciate you, my brother. Peace.
Peace and love.